Class is in session. MLB hitting the book show for Tuesday, May 20th. Ian Cameron, Connor Mack will be here in just a moment as well. And we are ready to break down this Tuesday MLB slate. Lots of games in action. Looking forward to the slate tonight. We had a best bet. We had two best bets, in fact, last night. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh under from our guy C-Mac cashed in that one, under 8.5 with the Reds and the Pirates last night. Barely. It ended 7-1, but it did cash. And yesterday for me, it was Diamondbacks, Dodgers over 9.5. It got there with ease. And I mentioned Arizona. I thought they were live in that game. They ended up winning that game 9-5. So it was a very good Monday. We'll see if we can keep it rolling with another profitable Tuesday here in MLB action. So without further ado, let's get into it. We will begin with the Chicago Cubs taking on the Miami Marlins. Jameson Taillon and Ryan Weathers is the pitching matchup here. Cubs minus 140, road favorites, and the total here sitting at 8.5. I like the over here with the Cubs and the Marlins. We saw a lot of runs with these two teams last night. I don't fully trust Jameson Taillon, especially in particular away from home. Certainly, I think the Marlins capable of doing damage. I'm still not sold on Ryan Weathers. I know he's been, I guess, decent's the word so far. Well, we've seen him in the rotation, but it's not someone that I project as a big ton of upside. You know, he's been what he's been going back to his days with the Padres. Doesn't exactly throw all that hard. And the Cubs, I think, as far as their ability to hit lefties, I think they're capable of doing some damage here tonight against Ryan Weathers in this game. So total at 8.5. I like the over here when it comes to the Cubs and the Marlins. I think we'll see some runs once again between them tonight. All right, Reds and Pirates. We've got Cincinnati minus 145, road favorites, 8 the total. Nick Martinez, Bailey Falter, the pitching matchup here in this one. This one I look the other way with the total. I think it's probably going to be, a low-scoring game. Pirates can't hit a lick right now. And Nick Martinez, I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop for this guy, but right now we got to give him credit. He's pitched pretty solidly here this year for the Cincinnati Reds so far. And I think this is a matchup where he's capable of at least keeping this feeble Pirates lineup in check. Meanwhile, we've got Falter on the mound here for the Pirates. You never know what you're going to get from Falter. There's certain days where he lives up to his last name, and he does indeed falter. And then there's certain games where he actually pitches solid. The one thing I will say about Bailey Falter here is here in Pittsburgh, he's pitched great, especially the last couple starts. 1 run in 7 innings against San Diego, 6 innings of shutout baseball against Atlanta. Both of those games here at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. So I think when you look at it, he's pitched well at home. I think he can probably do enough to keep the Reds in check. So the under is the way I would probably approach this game. Lean to the Reds, but don't love the price as much as certainly last night. It was dirt cheap on Cincinnati, and I said that. How were they only minus 110, minus 115 last night? It was very surprising. They're on a win streak. They're better than Pittsburgh. This price is a little bit better, closer to where it should be. So I don't love the value at minus 145, but I'm not touching the Pirates. It's still Reds or pass for me right now. All right, Atlanta, Washington. We've got Spencer Strider for the Braves, Mitchell Parker for the Nats. Atlanta minus 180, road favorites, 8 the total, 8.5 in some spots. So make sure you shop around when it comes to the total here in this game. Mitchell Parker's definitely trending in a bit of a downward trajectory right now. So we'll see how he plays or pitches tonight, but it hasn't been great from Parker here in the last few starts for the Washington Nationals. We'll see if he can rectify things here tonight against the Atlanta Braves. And Spencer Strider, who continues to, is going to, once again, I should say, try to work his way back into a regular starting rhythm. This is a guy that made his return against Toronto on April 16th, and we haven't seen him start ever since. But now we'll finally make his second start of the season. He was okay in the first start, 2 runs, 5 hits, 5 innings, but it's a guy that obviously hadn't pitched in a very long time. We'll see how he fares tonight against Washington, a Nationals team that certainly they've been hitting the ball better, albeit it was against a sad sack Baltimore team, but still. They've scored 24 runs in their last 3 games. They lost 3 of 4 in Atlanta last week to this Braves team. Now they're playing here in Washington. I think the full game over I would lean to, but I like the Braves team total more because I think they do the lion's share of the scoring. Like I said, I haven't liked the trending downward that we've seen in Mitchell Parker. He's given up 13 runs over his last 13 runs over his last 12.2 innings, which really is not very good. The Braves should be able to do a decent amount of damage here tonight. So I like the Atlanta team total most of all, and you can get that over 4.5 at around minus 130. But I would probably go with a smaller bet too on this full game over. Atlanta, I think, does most of the scoring, but I think Washington might be able to chip in because it's very, very hard to pin down how effective and in rhythm Strider is going to be. His first start in a month and his second start in a year. All right, next up, we've got the Mets and the Red Sox, Clay Holmes and Walker Buehler for the Red Sox. We've got the Mets minus 140 road favorites, 8.5, 9 the total in this game. I lean under. I know Buehler has had some ups and downs the last few years, but, we saw a low-scoring game with these two teams last night. Certainly, there's a lot to like about the way that Clay Holmes has pitched for the Mets, 3.19 ERA. He's pitched pretty solid for the most part. 3 runs or less allowed in 4 of his last 5 starts. Buehler's pitched a little bit better, since the last time we saw him. Now he's been out for a while, returning to the rotation, first start since April 26. But let's not forget that he had given up 3 runs or less in 4 straight starts for the Red Sox toward the end of April before his latest absence. It's just a question of whether, he's going to be able to just jump back into the rotation and be effective here. But I certainly think this has the potential to be runs at a premium tonight. I would lean under as far as where, especially with the total being 9 where it is right now. We've started to see certainly from the Boston Red Sox standpoint, the offense kind of scattershot of late. The Mets have cooled off. They've scored suddenly just 2 runs or less in 4 of their last 5 games. So I think there's potential at least for this to be a bit of a lower scoring game here tonight between these two. All right, Astros and Rays. Walker and Zach Littell here on the mound. Tampa Bay minus 125, minus 130. Home favorites, 9 the total in this game. I like the Rays here. Little's been pretty solid. I think this is a Tampa lineup that I think is capable of doing a little bit of damage here tonight in this game against Walter. You look at Walter, and he's got very, very mediocre pedestrian numbers, and this goes back to previous stops in the major leagues. Certainly on paper, it looks like a matchup where the Rays should be able to have, a decent amount of an advantage here in this game. I know they fell short last night, and I did like Tampa Bay last night, and they fell short, but I feel like I want to come back and give them another crack tonight. I think Little can pitch well. He's pitched better in his last few starts, and I think they can do enough damage off Walter. Minus 135. Price has gone up because Houston opened road favorites, and now Tampa Bay favored at home. I agree with the move, though. I like the Rays here in the spot on the money line. I think they can get the job done. All right, Texas and New York Yankees. We've got Patrick Corbin, Will Warren, the pitching matchup. We've got the Yankees minus 220, home favorites, 8.5 the total. Yankees have really been good against lefties this year. The question is, can they be good against this lefty who has really shockingly out of nowhere had a heck of a season for the most part here for the Texas Rangers, Patrick Corbin. Very steady, very consistent, 2 runs or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. His last start against Colorado was actually his worst one, believe it or not, against one of the worst teams the worst team in baseball. But he still only gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. Still pretty solid numbers overall. That being said, you look at some of these recent teams he's faced. This is going to be a challenge here, I think, for Patrick Corbin. Although, as I say that, he did shut them out last year as a member of the Washington Nationals. But I also remember he's pitched a couple times at Yankee Stadium. He didn't pitch great in those games. He gave up 6 runs in 12 innings, 5 home runs. The home run ball was a problem the last 2 times Corbin has pitched here at Yankee Stadium. And I'm still not fully sold on Will Warren. He has good numbers on the road, but the last time we saw him at Yankee Stadium, he got peppered, giving up 5 runs on 7 hits in 4.2 innings against Tampa. The last time that Will Warren pitched here at Yankee Stadium. So I'm gonna take a shot on this over with the total being 8.5, below that key number of 9. I know he's pitched pretty well and pretty solidly this season, Corbin, but I think there's a difficult matchup. Yankees hit lefties well, and in this ballpark, the ball can really fly. That could be a problem here for Corbin. And I think Texas can do a little bit of damage here against Warren. And I think the Yankees, like I said, match up well against Corbin. So I think it can get over 8.5 there. I agree with Gerald Jones, rather, and his look there. It's the first 5, if you want to go in that direction. I don't mind that either. All right, we continue along. Next up, we've got the Padres and the Blue Jays. Dylan Cease and Chris Bassett, the pitching matchup here. Even money both sides, total 7.5 between these two teams. I kind of like the Jays a little bit in this spot. You got San Diego kind of again, San Diego, where they've been just absolutely outstanding at Petco Park, but they continue to be less than inspiring on the road, San Diego. It's been kind of their season so far, 11-10, one game above 500 on the road. A lot of their wins have been at home. Dylan Cease, what will we get from him? He has pitched better lately, pitched solidly at Petco. We'll see on the road. His last road start, though, was good. 1 run against the Yankees. See if he can carry that over into this game. Chris Bassett had a rough start against the Angels, but bounced back big from that. Last time we saw him against Tampa Bay, giving up just the 1 run in 5.2 innings. You got, San Diego starting this trip here in the East Coast. I think Toronto leaned that way anyway. Small bet, perhaps, just based on the scheduling spot. Bassett, I think, can pitch solidly. And the one thing, too, about the Padres is this lineup at home hasn't always been a juggernaut, by any stretch of the imagination. They have had at times, issues getting the bats going. So I do lean a little bit to the Jays here, small home underdog here in this spot. All right, we continue along now on this this Tuesday MLB card. We've got next up the Cleveland Guardians and the Minnesota Twins. We've got Gavin Williams and Chris Paddock, your pitching matchup here. Minnesota minus, looks like 110, 115 is what we're looking at as slight home favorites. Total here, 7.5. I like the Twins. I got to admit, this team has this great 14-1 record in their last 15 games. Tough to bet against this team right now. Paddock has actually pitched a little bit better in some of his recent starts. I'm not the biggest Gavin Williams fan, especially when he doesn't pitch in Cleveland. I think on the road he's a little bit more susceptible, Gavin Williams, and certainly it's looked that way in the results. So when it's all said and done here, our price looks really, really cheap. Really reasonable here on Minnesota, minus 115. They also have to complete the game that last night, obviously, that was suspended due to weather. But this game here with Williams and Paddock, at this price, it's Twins or pass for me. I did bet Minnesota here in this one. All right, we continue along. We've got Seattle and the Chicago White Sox next up. We've got Legumina on the mound for Seattle. Hauser now getting the start here for the Chicago White Sox. So it looks like a pitching change here on the Chicago side of things. We've got the Mariners minus 180. Road favorites, and the total here sitting at 8.5, pretty much across the board. I think the Mariners team total is probably the way I would go. I've never been a big Adrian Hauser fan. I mean, I know he was with the Brewers organization previously. He's got okay stuff. He's not going to really blow you away with anything he does as far as from a pitching standpoint. Casey Legumina now on the mound for the Mariners here in this spot, and he's making a spot start here, it looks like, in this game for Seattle. Does have good numbers out in a bullpen role this year. 15 appearances, 1.84 ERA. He's given up 3 earned runs and 14.7 innings pitched. Legumina in the bullpen for the Mariners. So, hell, that might be enough to shut down the White Sox. We know this lineup can be shut down by anybody, and we have seen that during this losing streak. 3 runs or less, and a grand total of just 10 runs in those 5 games that the White Sox have lost consecutively. So I would look at probably Seattle minus 1 run line, minus 1.5 run line. Team total over 4.5 for the Mariners. I think they can probably get 5 runs tonight in this game. So that's probably what I would look at. I like the Mariners team total more than anything to be able to get 5.5. I think they could probably get to 5 runs tonight in this game. It would not shock me. So the Mariners team total over 4.5 is what I ended up going with here in this one. All right, Baltimore and Milwaukee. We've got Keegan Aiken, the lefty, who will be making a spot start here for the Orioles. And we've got Henderson here on the mound for the Milwaukee Brewers in this game. Logan Henderson, Milwaukee minus 130, home favorites. 8.5 the total, shaded to the under. Actually, I think it's shaded to the over, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, slightly shaded to the over with the 8.5. Yeah, I'm betting Milwaukee. You guys know it. This Baltimore team is just in shambles. Credit to them. They were down 4-1 last night. Cedric Mullins with a 3-run homer to tie the game 4-4, but bullpen implodes late. Once again, Milwaukee takes the lead in the 8th inning, and they get the 5-4 win last night over the Orioles. This is just a dismal baseball team right now. Anytime I see them in this kind of a price range, it's just you go to the window, you fade them until they prove they can step up and win a game. Not a big fan of Keegan Aiken either. He's a soft-tossing lefty, the kind that I don't know if I trust him in a starting role for this Orioles team, even though he's been solid in a bullpen role this year. 3.27 ERA for them, but no, this is just a Baltimore team that's a mess right now. They're not hitting consistently enough. The pitching's been awful. The bullpen's been awful. The defense hasn't been great. So, yeah, pretty easy decision here. Keep fading Baltimore until they prove otherwise. Milwaukee for me here, minus 130 in this one. All right, we roll along here. Next up on the Tuesday MLB slate, we've got Philadelphia and Colorado. Jesus Luzardo, the lefty for the Phillies on the mound, and Antonio Senzatella for the Rockies. We've got Philadelphia minus 280, road favorites, 11 the total here. So pretty high total here in this game, but you understand why. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Phillies, pounded that hapless Rockies bullpen last night and opened it up late and ended up scoring 9 runs in that victory against the Colorado Rockies last night. More of the same. Colorado just cannot pitch worth a damn. I mean, they really are that bad as far as their pitching is concerned. Even last night, 9-3, they actually hold the Phillies in check until the 8th and the 9th inning when they respond for 7 runs. It was actually a solid start from Freeland. Let's give him credit. He only gave up 1 run in 5.1 innings, but this bullpen is so fucking atrocious that even that bullpen helped me cash that Phillies team total over last night. So I'm just going right back to it. I know the team totals now for teams against Colorado here at Coors Field. These team totals are now at 6.5. I still think they can go over 6.5. I think they can get to 7 runs. Why not? Colorado's made a habit of giving up 7, 8, 9, even 10 runs or more to teams of late during this historically abysmal season. 8-39 now, the Colorado Rockies on the season. Like I said, they give up a 9 spot. 7 of it came against the bullpen, which is just horrific. They have given up 9, 12, 8, and 8 runs in 4 of their last 5 games. So I think the Phillies, team total over 6.5. Normally, you'd never in a million years take a team total over 6.5, but this is one exception to it. Phillies team total over 6.5. I like the full game over 10.5 too. I know Luzardo has pretty good numbers for the Phillies this year. He's pitched really well, but you do have to go now to Coors Field, and it's a long time ago, 4 years ago, but when he was with Miami, he did make a start here at Coors Field, and he gave up 7 runs in 4.2 innings. Not very good. So I think Colorado can score a little bit. Phillies will do most of the damage, but Phillies team total over 6.5 and a little bit on the 10.5 full game over for me as well for the Phillies and the Rockies. All right, on we go. Next up, we've got the Royals taking on the Giants. So, you know what? I missed one. My bad. I missed one game at the 7 o'clock hour. Tigers and Cardinals. Tarek Skubal and Eric Fetty, the pitching matchup. Tigers minus 180, road favorite, 7.5 the total. Perhaps an under here or something, maybe a first 5 under. Skubal on the mound for the Tigers. Obviously, how much we think of him. But Eric Fetty's an interesting case study for the Cardinals. He's certainly someone that is capable, on his best day of pitching well. We'll see if he's able to here tonight for the Cardinals. He's got decent numbers, 3.46 ERA. And here at Busch Stadium, he's pitched all. Actually, he had 1 rough start here at home. He's actually been excellent on the road. He enters this game without giving up a run in his last 14.2 innings. Both of those starts came on the road at Washington, at Philadelphia. We'll see if Eric Fedde can keep it going here. We know Skubal is someone we like. I know he got roughed up a little bit by Boston in his last start, but before that, he had been lights out. No doubt about that. So I would maybe look at an under here, first 5 and or full game. Nothing on the side. I don't fade Skubal, but I'm not taking Detroit minus 180, especially against a St. Louis team that is just playing some great baseball. 9-2 in their last 11. They have a 16-6 home record. They've been very strong here at Busch Stadium this year. So I don't want to lay this kind of a price against St. Louis, even though I like Skubal a lot. But so it's a pass for me on the side. I would lean a little bit to the unders there in that one. All right, Kansas City, San Francisco, Michael Lorenzen, Hayden Birdsong, the pitching matchup here. Giants minus 145, home favorites, 8 the total. This is probably another under or pass spot. Easy one with the under last night. I like the under. Connor Mack liked the under last night with the Royals and the Giants. No sweat with that one. I mean, dare these two lineups to hit. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Birdsong for San Francisco. I don't always love what we get from him, but so far I will say this about Birdsong. In a relief role, 2.35 ERA this season, pretty good numbers. Michael Lorenzen kind of struggled two of his last 3 starts, but I think he can bounce back here against San Francisco. He has got good numbers against the Giants in the past. And more importantly, San Francisco is a team, they've gone ice cold at the plate here in recent games. 5 runs in their last 3 games combined. That is certainly not going to get the job done. So I think when you look at this situation, it's a spot where I think dare these two lineups to hit once again after a 3-1 low-scoring game last night, won by the Royals. So again, the under I think is worth running it back. Going right back to it here tonight, whether it's under 8, whether it's first 5 under, which you can get at 4.5. I think another low-scoring game seems like it's highly possible once again here between the Royals and the Giants. All right, C-Mac is going to join us in a moment. I know we actually have almost gotten through the whole card. There's only a couple games left, but yes, C-Mac will be with us in just a moment. Let's move on. We've got the first of the 2 games out on the West Coast. We've got the Angels and the Athletics. Kyle Hendricks, actually not on the West Coast, but in the the 2 latest games of the night. San Francisco's the West Coast too, but you get my point. Angels and Athletics. Kyle Hendricks and Garrett Hoagland, the pitching matchup here. Athletics minus 180, home favorites. 10.5 the total here in this game. I know the over fell short last night, but I'm okay running it back here. I think it ended under the total last night, but I think it gets there tonight. I think Hendricks in this ballpark can really struggle here in Sacramento with the way the ball carries, with the way that the home runs have been flying here in this yard. So I think that could be a tough matchup here for Hendricks tonight in this spot for the LA Angels. And let's also not forget some of these road starts that he's had have not been very good this season. Meanwhile, we've got Gunnar Hoagland here on the mound for the Athletics. Started out pretty well, kind of fell back last time out, but it was against the Dodgers. But still, I think he pitched a little bit better than he truly is in his first 2 starts. I think he's okay. He's not good. Maybe a sign that last start against the Dodgers, he's going to start getting hit a little bit. So I like the over here, 10.5. I know it fell short last night, but I think I think tonight it will get up and over the total. I think the 2 lineups can do enough here against these specific pitchers. There he is, the C-Mac in the house. C-Mac, what do you think here with Angels A's late night?
Yeah, I think there's some runs too. I just don't love this 10.5 now here. I think.
Yeah, it's gone to 10.5 in a lot of spots. Yep.
Yeah, in a lot of spots. He's been pretty good. Like, I'm just waiting for him to have one of those horrible games, where he gives up 2 or 3 homers. So that could be here. Yeah, I mean, yesterday, one of the only losses. I mean, it was 4-2 in the 3rd inning. I'm like, and just dies out. But that's how baseball can go.
Yep.
Didn't really get anything after that. So I just think this price is big. I think it's telling the A's, but they're scuffling a little bit. Angels, the bats come through. WAR goes deep. Again, we talked about it yesterday. So it's definitely, I think, kind of an A's spot. So maybe even the A's team total, but the price has just gotten too big here. Out to minus 180 now.
All right, final game for this Tuesday. We've got the Arizona Diamondbacks and the LA Dodgers. Dodgers minus 240, home favorites, 9 the total. That was a phenomenal betting result for me last night. We had Arizona, we had the over. No sweat either way. 9-5 Arizona win last night over the Dodgers. That's now 4 straight losses for the Dodgers. And don't look now, their lead in the NL West has suddenly disappeared. The Padres are right on their heels, and the Diamondbacks aren't far behind now either in the NL West. So Dodgers need to stop the bleeding. They got the right guy on the mound to be a slump buster for them tonight, and that's Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's had a pretty solid season overall. Although I will say this now, the last couple of starts, the A's and the Diamondbacks in Arizona for Yamamoto, 8 runs in his last 11 innings, and he's given up 3 homers. So are we starting to get a little concerned about Yamamoto? You couldn't hit this guy in the first month or so, and suddenly now 8 runs in the last 11 innings. We'll see how he fares here. Ryan Nelson on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks. He's at run of the mill, I guess is the best way to describe him, but I don't trust him fully. We saw him start against the Mets earlier this year. He gave up 2 runs, 3 hits, and 4.1 innings. Wasn't great. Had some walk issues. It feels like a spot where the Dodgers got to step up and stop the skid, and they've certainly got the right guy on the mound. I'll tell you what, I got to take over 9 here in this game. I don't like it like I did last night, but I'm not going to deny the fact that the Dodgers are on an 11-1 run to the over in their last 12 games at Dodger Stadium. It's really, really weird, but they have been just over machines here at Dodger Stadium. And I think I've seen enough cracks in the armor in Yamamoto the last couple starts. I'm hopeful Arizona can do enough offensively tonight to help the over. I think the Dodgers can smash Nelson, or at least get to him pretty good here in this game. It's a question of can Arizona do enough, but Arizona's lineup's hitting right now. And like I said, there's been just a little decline in Yamamoto the last 2 starts. So I'm still going ahead with the over here at 9 in this one. C-Mac, what do you think? Arizona, Dodgers.
Yeah, Dodgers need Yamamoto here. Big tonight. You talked about the last couple starts. Even against Arizona, the team here, just kind of that one pitch, a few walks, grand slam. He was out of there. The Dodgers have just been, why it's over? They've been pathetic. This pitching staff has fallen apart. All the relief pitchers are gone. Those toppers, Kopech, trying it. I mean, they're all just so they've been getting tattooed. They're already down. To see a Dodger pitching, it's usually it'll get better too with these guys coming back. But I think they're like 24th in the majors. I mean, the ERA's balloon to over 6. So they need a guy to pitch well. It's him now, and with all the starters they have out. Nelson's only going to go to the Dodgers one time here. If he could go 3, that'd be great. It's just, but after that, they'll yank him out. He won't see the lineup the second time. So there's just no way, even with him on the mound, Dodgers at this price. Now, they haven't lost 4 straight since 2018 at home. I mean, not on the road, but at home. I just can't back this team. So it's like, yeah, I'd be on the D-backs or nothing.
Yeah, I know it's a slam. It's definitely a strong Dodger spot with the right guy on the mound, but there's no way I'm laying.
But the price is 240. Yeah, that's the whole issue here. I mean, maybe just go with the team total, the 5.5s, or at least like plus 110.
I think if you like the Dodgers, you take the team total because I think they'll score regardless of whether they win. But this Arizona team is playing good and they're hitting right now. So I think the Diamondbacks plus 200, still worth a shot. My concern, though, is Nelson. I don't really love him against this Dodgers lineup. I think it's not a great matchup for him. But
it isn't a good matchup for him.
It isn't.
Yeah, so, minus 110 now, but still for the Dodgers team total.
All right, C-Mac, anything from the other games before you join the show? Anything that you wanted to mention? Any games you like?
No, I'll hit the best bet in the Jacks. Let's get out of here. Just gotta go.
All right, good stuff. There we go. Jack of the day. What are you liking?
Yeah, I have 2 here. I'm going to go the A's, Angels. I might look at a guy or 2 there. I haven't looked at that game. I'm taking Bellinger here. I think it's a decent matchup versus Corbin. His bat's been swinging a little bit better. I mean, he just hit that slam the other night, but I think it's a good matchup. The Jacks plus 680, so I think it's a must take there. And this guy, I was a little pissed because where are the runs going to come yesterday for the Brewers? Well, my guy Contreras, he had a good day. I'm going to go back to him here in the 4-hole for the Brewers. It's going to be basically a bullpen day for the Orioles. Looks like Aiken, the primary. So I love him here. In the 4-hole, it's plus 500. The Ribbies plus 180. So a little William Contreras, Brewers.
All right. Good stuff. You know, I like some of those. There's no question. Some good choices there for sure. All right. Jack of the day for me for this particular card. There are a couple that stand out. I do want to mention Rowdy Tellez for Seattle. He's hit 2 bombs off did they make that change? They did. Shit, though. Yeah, I had Will because they made this change recently to Adrian Hauser. I'd still maybe take Rowdy Tellez, but yeah, Kyle Stowers is a good one. Nick Alvento for Miami against Taillon. I could definitely see him maybe going yard. That's for sure. But he had 2 against. Now it's not Bryce Wilson, unfortunately. Chiriot for Milwaukee. Jackson Chiriot. I do think he's probably worth a shot tonight as far as a home run prop. Philly, Colorado. I mean, there's a bunch of Phillies that might be worth a shot. I'd maybe go Kepler because Kepler hits Senzatella's type of pitches really strong. So maybe a Max Kepler for the Phillies. Brandon Marsh, someone that might be. I know Schwarber and Harper, you know, it goes without saying that they're live to hit a homer off Senzatella tonight. But some of those other guys on the Phillies with value that might be worth a look as far as home run props tonight are concerned. And like I said, in the later hours, there's some candidates too. Angels and A's. You know, Taylor Ward just continues to be, you know, an absolute hitting machine. Ryan Nelson, by the way, we mentioned Freddie Freeman last night. Freddie's got a home run against Ryan Nelson in the past for the Dodgers. So Freddie Freeman possibly tonight. So those are some home run candidates for me here tonight on the card. All right, best bets to wrap it up. C-Mac, what do you like for best bet?
Just to throw one out, I usually take against lefties, but in the Giants game, I don't know if there's a ton of runs there, but our guy Flores, we mentioned on 7 for 14 off Lorenzen with 3 home runs. Maybe look to him in that one. I wanted to mention it. Best bet here. Give me the under. I was going to go first 5-4, but I'll go full game. I think these bullpens are decent enough. Biggest key is I don't think the Tigers, maybe they get to Fetty, but he's at home. But Tigers, Cardinals, under 7.5.
I mentioned that. I thought that could be an under game as well. We'll see. Tigers and Cardinals under 7.5.
We'll see a lot of runs yesterday.
Yeah, that's always a good game. And look, Fetty's pitched solid, and we know Scooble what he can do. So definitely under 7.5. Detroit, St. Louis. My best bet. Sometimes you just don't keep it simple, stupid, right? That old saying. That's what I'm doing for best bet. Fading Baltimore's lined my pockets for weeks. Let's see if he can do it one more time tonight. Milwaukee minus 125 versus Baltimore. That'll be my best bet. Keegan Aiken doesn't do it for me as a starting pitcher. There's nothing about Baltimore that does it for me right now. So Milwaukee minus 125 for my best bet here for this Tuesday MLB slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. Looking forward, obviously, to this Tuesday slate. We're back tomorrow on Wednesday at the same time with another edition of the MLB Hitting the Books show. So make sure you join us tomorrow night for that. It'll be a quick show tomorrow because we've got some day games. Still a lot of night games, but not as many because we got day games tomorrow. So a nice quick show tomorrow it'll be. So make sure you join us. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Sean Smith, Nick Alvento, Justin McKelvey, Daniel Abana, T. Moss, Good, Mark Stashowski, Gerald Jones, Dram Yankee, Rob McMahon. We appreciate you guys joining us. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already.
Appreciate it.
Good stuff. We're out of here. For C-Mac, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Tuesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we'll be back tomorrow on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, for another edition of the MLB Hitting the Books show. Until then, class dismissed.